to the Albert and Billy Show on WUAT Radio and Channel 18 Valley TV, and of course on YouTube. We get a lot of people that watch us on YouTube. I get told that quite a bit. Not everybody has Channel 18 yet, but you need to get it. You need to be subscribing to it, folks. But if you don't, you can check it out on YouTube. Just go to ValleyTV's homepage, and you can see all the episodes of the Albert and Billy Show and all episodes of any ValleyTV original shows on there, actually. And how you doing today, Papa?
Well, this
You
is...
got like the holiday hangover like everybody else has?
No, I didn't get drunk.
What?
This is the first time.
You know what I mean.
This is the first time I've been on television all year.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
First time all year.
I know it's been such a long year, you know. Yeah.
Well, I had a good holiday.
Mm-hmm.
I have never
I did too.
experienced as much generosity and giving
Really?
as I experienced. The Bible says it's
good.
more blessed to give than to
It is true.
receive.
That's true.
Let me tell you, it ain't all that bad to be on the receiving end.
That's true. No, that's a good point now. I agree with you on that. We gotta get this mic going on here.
I was graciously, wonderfully blessed this Christmas.
Yeah, we had some good times during Christmas.
And the holiday.
And had a good New Year's too.
I had black-eyed peas and hog jaw.
I did too.
But you know, she didn't
New
have
Year's Eve, you come down to Mom's and Marvin's, and we played Rook most of the night. You left about what, 9?
Well, about my bedtime.
Yeah. Well, we all stayed up. We rung in the New Year playing cards, but it was fun. It was fun, but hope everybody had a good holiday, a good Christmas, and good New Year's. I hope everybody had a great holiday season, and now it's winter time.
Yeah, it's about
Now
time.
it's time for
That time for school to start.
the
again.
wintertime blues, you know. I always get the wintertime blues. Heck, I get them, though, during the holidays. I'm not big on wintertime, especially not wintertime here. Our winters are just rain, gloomy skies, and rain. What's fun about that? Absolutely
Well,
nothing.
what's fun about plodding through 12 inches of snow?
Well, I wasn't requesting that either. But if it is going to do anything, I'll put in a request to God. I'll say, just let it be powdery snow. That way you can still get out. You know, it don't affect anything like that. Not too much of it, so it's pretty to look at, and it beats the heck out of rain. And
All right, I'll agree with that.
yeah, so if it's going to do anything, let's wish for that.
It'll wait.
Powdery snow.
The snow will wait until school starts.
It will. You can count on that. That's the truth. Well, we got the world famous Rook Tournament, as Dan calls it each morning. The world famous Rook Tournament. The first one of the new year is going to be on Saturday, January the 12th, and it will start at 3 p.m. And member prizes are awarded to the top 3 teams. Concessions are available. He's going to have hamburgers there. And he made these hamburgers on some home games during the football season. And people would come to the ice cream shop and eat them after the ball games, and they were good.
Remember when he was cooking down there the night that we had the show down here in the
Yes,
parlor?
it's the same thing.
Right across the road.
Yes.
Man, he was cooking those burgers.
They're good. Those burgers are good. So that'll be the concession stand. So come out and have a good time playing some cards and get you some really good food in the process.
Or if you don't want to play cards, just come
Get you some
hamburger.
good food. That's right. And you can feel free to stay and cheer me on in the Rook Tournament. I'll have no problem with that, folks. So that's, like I said, that's coming up on Saturday, January the 12th. And we'll remind everybody still about the bargain basement. That's at the Pikeville United Methodist Church that they started, I guess, about a year ago, maybe close to a year.
But I thought it was because of Christmas, but it's not.
I don't know. Let me see.
No,
it's for, because the next one's January 5th. So, no, it's not just for the holidays. I didn't think it was because they started about a year ago. And what it is, it's a bargain basement, Papa, that they have the first and third Thursday, actually, the first Saturday and the third Thursday of every month. And it'll be from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. on those days. And it's quality clothing, household items, miscellaneous other items at an affordable price. Proceeds from this sale are used for missions near and far by the United Methodist Women. And the next one is
tomorrow. The 5th?
January 5th, yeah. So radio listeners, remember that. It's tomorrow. The next one.
Check that out.
Check it out tomorrow, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And you know they'll give you some good deals. A lot of them watch us and listen to us. So you might luck up and get you some real good deals, Pawpaw. Might get it for free.
Might send me a new shirt for television.
Also, radio listeners, but this is going to be a regular thing, though. So, but it starts tomorrow. But TV viewers, though, this is going to start being a regular thing. I'm pretty sure, though. It's the new Analon meeting. Is going to be starting in Pikeville, beginning Saturday, January the 5th, at the Mount Crest United Methodist Church, which is on Highway 30 West, right beside Mary V. Wheeler Elementary School. This is for people, if you have been bothered by someone's drinking, it's talking about alcoholics. You know, it doesn't only affect their life, it affects the lives of the people closest to them.
Right.
So, if you have been affected by this, Analon may be able to help you. Meetings will begin here in Bledsoe County on Saturday, January the 5th at 9 a.m. Analon is a fellowship of relatives and friends who believe their lives have been affected by someone else's drinking. And like I said, I think that's going to be a monthly thing, so we'll definitely keep you updated on that. Hello.
It's at Mount Crest.
At Mount Crest United Methodist Church. That's right. And that's all I've got right now.
That's all you've got? Well, let me do
Well, I mean, I could come up with some more, so be careful what you wish for. Give us a little bit of a break today.
All right. I want to talk to our listeners and viewers about the Second Chance Pet Group Spay and Neuter line.
Can't forget about them now.
This is a hotline. If you need help about your pet, whether it's a dog or a cat, these people that are on the other end of the line, when you call this number 554-4442, they will pick up the phone and they will take your call and answer your needs, record them for you.
Even our producer, Allie, knows that number by heart.
I bet a lot of our listeners already have learned it too.
Oh, yeah, you know it.
But those people on the other end of the line, when they answer you give them the time of day that they can call you back.
Yeah.
They need to help you, but maybe they can't answer your phone, your needs right then. So they're there as volunteers. So please let them have your phone number and what it is you need done to your pet and the availability. They've got to get it all synchronized. And they do all this on a volunteer basis. Thank God for people that volunteer.
Yeah, it's a great deed that they do. And
these hospitals, they couldn't function without the volunteers they have.
No.
Couldn't.
So, and remember their famous slogan, prevent a litter, be part of the solution, fix your critter. We can't leave that part out. Well, Papa, it's time for some trivia. We got a week off, so maybe I'm recharging ready, I guess.
That's right. We didn't
We just got a week off, though.
I didn't make any money then, did I? I didn't work.
Maybe you got some Christmas money. You start back substitute teaching next week, don't you? Well, school starts back.
School starts back.
And he gets calls constantly. So
but the thing about it is, they've had a long break.
They've had a long break.
The teachers will probably be back in their place.
Yeah, but it will just be a few days and they'll want to break again.
Well, the thing about it is,
it won't take long.
You never can forecast when your tooth will hurt or when you have a doctor's appointment and all these things. Eddie got a tooth that's giving him a fit. He wanted to get it pulled yesterday, but he couldn't get in.
Yeah, I know. That's the problem with that. It could be abscessed.
No, it's not abscessed, he said. Okay.
Well, that's good.
Under the trivia questions to begin with, our first one says, an idyllic spot would be called, what would be an ideal place to be? What's the most perfect place?
The beach. But, I mean, this is going to be a matter of opinion.
I said the most perfect place that you could be.
Paradise. Heaven.
Okay, but where is, there's a spot, there's a place that had a name, everything was perfect. Ideal. In the Bible.
Garden of Eden.
Garden of Eden.
But you didn't.
I said idyllic. Nothing wrong. No. Perfect.
You're close. Sometimes.
Albert wasn't there. Okay, number 2. Name of a far out planet as well as a denizen.
As a denizen.
A denizen of the deep. A denizen of the ocean and the sea. But it's also the name of a planet. Neptune. That's good, Millie.
It was total guess. I'm not going to tell you how I figured it out.
Well, I'm proud of you anyway. Question number 3.
Thank you.
There are 3 chipmunks. Who's the lead chipmunk?
Alvin. Alvin, Simon, Theodore.
I drew them.
Yes, you did.
I've got them as one of the pictures I drew. Okay, number 4. You gave it your all-out effort to the blank degree. All out.
Nth, however you say it.
Nth degree. Very good. You're on a roll.
Well, these are not crazy hard yet.
A clenched hand is called a fist.
Mm-hmm. That's easy.
When Carolyn had her stroke in March 2002, she stayed in the hospital about a week, and we brought her home. She ate supper that night. We went to bed. The next morning, when I got her up to eat, her right hand was a fist. And I noticed it. And I said, honey, you got your hand in a fist. Undo it. She couldn't.
I think I remember.
She'd had another stroke during the night, and her right hand was a fist. And it would not unfurl.
Now, this was the first one she had.
Yeah.
I remember that. She could not
It was just a fist.
That. Yeah.
And I couldn't, she said, I'm not going back to the hospital. So we went to Travis Smith. And he looked at that and he said, well, I said, we'll try. And he got it. I don't know how long
all
it took
he could do was try.
But for the rest of her life, that was in 2002, for the rest of her life till 2013,
it bothered her.
She would have trouble getting her food on a fork and getting it to her mouth. That second stroke affected her.
Well, I love my nanny dearly, but she could be stubborn sometimes, and in all honesty, she should have went back to the hospital, and they could have done something. You never know.
Did you know my wife that well?
She can be a spitfire if she wanted to be.
Nap time in Old Mexico is called
siesta.
That's a nap.
You have to take them. I mean, they're legal. You have to take a nap.
But you know what, Allie? I thought siesta was like a party too.
No, that's a fiesta. Fiesta.
Oh, okay. So fiesta is a party, siesta is a nap.
A nap.
Afternoon nap.
It's afternoon. Yeah, you can't take it early.
I wonder if most people in Mexico do that, I reckon, in Spain.
I would if I were there and they gave me an option.
Yeah.
I had a friend that
I've been to Mexico a bunch, and I never knew they done that.
Well, they're probably busy making money off of you.
Probably.
I had a friend in Sweetwater that owned a meatpacking company, and his home was not too far from his business. Mm-hmm. And he would go home every day after lunch and lay down and take a nap for 30 minutes.
Oh, really?
And go back to work every day.
I mean, it's probably smart, they say, to actually do that.
Well, whether you take a nap or not, to lie down and rest,
yes,
it would probably help you later on in the day.
I think it's supposed to be good for us. We just don't take the time to do that enough.
I don't have time.
Papa, you always say that.
Do you think you've got the same amount of time I have, or do you think I've
we
got
all
less?
do? But just according to you, you just,
TV.
Just you.
TV's Kojak's name was...
Well, that was
Kojak.
way before my time.
That was before 1980.
Yes, it was.
But he would always suck a lollipop, have a lollipop in his mouth.
Would he?
But his name was Kojak.
Oh, yeah, that's the name of the show.
Name of the show.
Yeah.
But what was his movie acting name?
Like, what's his name in real life?
Yeah, he was bald-headed.
I was just...
Telly Savalas.
Telly Savalas.
You don't remember?
Okay. That sounds familiar.
Telly Savalas. Okay. That's one you
I've heard of Kojak. You have to live in a cave.
Well, it'd be like Columbo.
But I just don't know a whole lot about it.
Detective. Mm-hmm. Okay. A dune buggy Ken. Think of a dune buggy and what it does.
Four-wheeler.
Okay, but
ATV.
ATV, all-terrain vehicle.
Okay.
I never have been on a dune buggy. Have you?
A dune buggy?
Yeah, to ride one of them.
I've always wanted to, but
they're bigger than a
four-wheeler. Seems like I was on one when I was a little kid, though, Papa.
Really?
It seems like it.
They're larger than a dune buggy.
Did Paula used to have a dune buggy a long time ago? Or...
not that I knew of.
Well, maybe she didn't.
Okay.
Somebody did.
Next question. You remember one anyway?
Yeah.
A parking attendant at a public place.
Valet.
Valet. You can get valet parking. And when you get my age, or when you're decrepit and you're crippled and you can't get around, you don't have to pay. Think about that. You might want to hurry up and get there.
I love how he put that out.
Listen now, listen. The next one. I'm blank for words.
At a loss for words.
I'm at a loss for words. Have you ever been at a loss for words?
Yeah, I've seen, sometimes I think we all see something weird and stupid that makes us speechless.
Billy, I want to tell you something. I want you to listen and believe me.
I will.
When I wrote that book about Carolyn.
Oh, yeah.
I never waited for a word.
Oh, okay.
I never wondered, well, what should I write next? Every word on those 70-some-odd pages came as fast as I could write them. Then after I got everything written, then I read it and tried to divide it in chapters. And but it just came. Every word just automatic.
That's amazing.
It was amazing.
No writer's block, at least.
And, well, I'm no author either. You can tell that by reading the book.
No, it is a good book, Papa.
Well,
it is.
I wrote it because of what Alzheimer's did to our family, what it did to her, and what it did to me and to my family. But it wound up being just a love story between the two of us. But what I wanted people to see was how Alzheimer's affected people. It just took her mind away from her.
Yes.
Just took it away from her.
So much so that at a certain point, we're the ones a lot more stressed out than they were. You know, we were more stressed out than she was. Remember, her blood pressure got good again. Didn't have to take medicine no more.
I don't think she had to worry about anything anymore.
That's it. At a certain point, they don't. But it's sad to see.
When I went to get her,
the rough part would be at first when, you know, I'm sure it had to be hard for her to know that she was losing her mind and something was going wrong.
I don't know that she ever realized it.
I don't either.
I don't know.
I think she did. I think she just didn't want to say anything. That would be scary.
I tried to dismiss it from my mind.
You did.
That's not my wife. You know.
So of course she tried.
And she's going to get better. You know, I kept thinking.
Yeah.
But anyway, really, in retrospect, if I had all my faculties about me while it was going on, it probably lasted 5, 6, 7 years instead of the short period of time that I attributed to bad time. You know, it was probably longer than that.
It could have been, especially, you know, the early on stuff.
Okay, San Antonio's landmark is called the Alamo. Remember the Alamo.
That's what you think of usually.
Two of the greatest frontiersmen found I know what that is. Page
but she
1.
knows we have a deal on the table too.
Okay. San Antonio's landmark is the Alamo. Okay.
Yes.
Next to last question. Olive oil's man's name.
Papa the Sailor Man.
Boy, you are good today. Now, are these real easy?
I mean, no.
Olive oil is not something everybody would know about.
Well, I remember that one though. I remember that show. That was one of my favorite cartoons.
Well, I drew Popeye. I've got him.
Yeah. So I mean that one too.
World's longest river.
Amazon, maybe?
No.
The Nile.
The Nile. 4,135 miles long.
Dang.
It's the longest.
Is that in the jungle too? Is they both in Africa?
The Nile's in Egypt, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Because
it used to be that's where the water gods came from with the Egyptians.
Okay.
From the Nile River.
And Moses turned it into blood.
The Nile, and then the Amazon is in that.
I think the Amazon is the strongest, most powerful river.
Yeah, people actually go there and get on boats and go down through there. Forget that. Too many pythons and things like that. Too many dangerous creatures in the Amazon. All that now.
Some probably not even been discovered yet.
I know
that. Can you imagine how much water goes over Niagara Falls? There's 2 falls. There's one in the United States and one in Canada.
I know it.
But can you imagine how much water per second falls away?
No tell.
Can you imagine how much the Amazon spits into the ocean?
Exactly.
Every second. Listen, as much water as goes into the ocean every second, billions and billions of gallons, the ocean is never too full.
I know.
It does not. It just, that water just keeps on coming.
I know it.
That's something.
It is. It's amazing.
I tell the kids at school.
Yeah.
The amount of water that is here is the amount of water that was given when this world was created. Ever how you view creation, the amount of water had to be put here.
That's right.
But there has never been an infusion to supplement our water supply. The original supply is all that's ever been given. So I tell the kids, that water you drink, somebody else drank it first.
But they don't like that. They don't like that. Well, coming up after the break, folks, it'll be sports of all sorts.
Yeah.
Got some good Tennessee news. It's nice to share.
Yes.
So that is coming up, folks, right here on Channel 18 Valley TV and WUAT AM 1110.
Be right back.
Welcome back to the Albert and Billy Show. Well, now welcome back to the Albert and Billy Show on WUAT Radio and Channel 18 Valley TV and YouTube. And if you're wondering why my shirt is wet, well, on our break, I decided to go get my jacket because it cooled off quite a bit, considerably in the last hour or so. Well, as soon as I go to do that, I don't a bit more across the corner, and a monsoon just up and comes. It is pouring down the rain.
But it's not snow.
Not snow. No, it's definitely rain. So now I'm even more tired of the rain because now I'm soaking wet. So I just drove my car over here instead of walking back. That's how bad it was.
You need to keep your bed back here.
I know it. I know it. Well, it's time for sports of all sorts.
Sports of all sorts.
And
we're not going to be talking about golf or marbles.
We'll never be talking about marbles. I hope not anyway.
Basketball.
But yeah, good time for basketball.
Basketball. I told you a good long while ago when Kentucky was ranked number 19, I said, watch Kentucky.
I said that too.
They're up to number 13 now.
Yeah.
And you wait and see.
Well, we both said that day that, yes, they're ranked low now, but they're still Kentucky, and they will get it together.
They got it together.
And they're well coached.
Yeah, you'll have to say that. Mm-hmm. But it would be much easier to coach some of the best players in the country than the dregs.
It is. Holly Warlick hadn't figured it out yet, but most coaches do. Yeah.
Now, you got to
She can't get to a Final Four with number one recruiting class and can't get to a Final Four. She can't win the SEC championship.
Yeah, but
maybe that'll change this year. I hope so.
She's only lost one game.
This year so far.
Out of 13 games?
They haven't played anybody, but yeah. I hope they do well. I do, but
Stanford.
Something's going to have to miraculously change.
You'll face some better teams than Stanford, I'd say, along the way.
Oh yeah.
But now
Mississippi State's going to be one of them.
Mississippi State will be there, but the SEC slate started last night. The schedule, and our ladies played Georgia,
Auburn. Yeah,
and they won by 8 or 9 points.
Wasn't convincing, and Auburn's not ranked.
They're not ranked, but they had only lost one game too.
Yeah,
they were 12-1.
Yeah,
so it made me feel good. They beat Auburn at Auburn.
At Auburn, that's always good.
It's hard to win a game in the SEC on the other team's floor.
Yeah,
it just is.
That's why you definitely want to protect your home court.
Well, it was tied up at the half, 35-35, and then later in the game they got ahead. Auburn got ahead.
That's right, they did.
So Tennessee showed some tenacity to want to come back and win that game.
And it's nice to see that this year. I believe they are at least playing tougher.
Well, I think we're going to have a 1-2 scoring bunch. Jackson and Davis, I think.
Yeah, and Westbrook. But she was off last night.
She didn't do much last night. But
now she's been scoring like 20 a game.
She's been a formidable scoring challenge for the other team. But if you've got a 1-2 punch, usually they'll get it done. But if you've got
her and Davis are just sophomores, so that's a good thing.
It looks good down the road.
That's right.
But if you can get 3 players to give you 15 points a game, then that's half of all your scoring.
Yeah.
And you want your bench to come in. You
should be able to compete for at least a SEC championship like that.
I see it. Well, I mean, I'd like to think.
You'd think so.
But anyway.
And the men, I think, are going to win the SEC this year. So far, I'm excited about their play. They've been very good.
Yeah, they have impressed me.
And I do think he's a better coach than Holly. And
I'll have to agree with that. I'll have to agree with that. When Tennessee, let's see, they played Tennessee Tech last Sunday, wasn't it? Or last Saturday. the scoring, you got 2 or 3 people that's able to score. You got Schofield, and you got Williams. There's a big 1-2 scoring punch.
That's true. That's true. And that helps.
But what looks so good. Last year we played in front of the 8th largest crowd on average than any team in the country. But we're doing better this year.
Oh, I'm sure.
We're averaging over 16,000 per game.
That's
the other night, the last game we played in front of 21,000.
That's great.
That's going to make your concessions ring up a lot more.
Yes, that's what happens when you have a great year. And I mean, I hope the Vols and Lady Vols can win it all, but. On the Lady Vols, it's going to take maybe those assistant coaches getting in their grill a little bit, because she's not going to do it. And that's what I've been saying all along with her. She's just not a disciplinarian. She's their buddy, and you can't do that.
Well, you've got to have somebody on that coaching staff.
Yeah, somebody on there's got to do it. Yes, and somebody's got to be the disciplinarian. If she's not going to do it, then let one of your assistants do it.
Let me just deviate just for a moment. Something you said there struck a chord. How important your secondary coaches are. Mark Rick resigned his Miami team Sunday.
He did?
He resigned.
I didn't know that.
Eddie Albert told me last night he thinks the reason he resigned, he's only 58 years old, and he's got to be one of the better. He's got to be one of the better coaches around. But Eddie said he thinks the reason that he did turn in his notice was that he wanted to retain some of his assistant coaches,
and they didn't want
and the higher ups said, no, we don't like this and we don't like that one. So he chose to cast his lot with that staff that he had hired.
Well, that's courageous. That's really taking a stand.
But he realized the need that he had for other coaches to help him with different positions in their coaching, and he was pleased with their efforts, evidently. Whereas somebody else higher up said, "Get rid of this nerd down here,"
Well, Miami, a lot like Tennessee, Miami is a traditional powerhouse in football, and let's face it, they've not been playing up to par either.
No, they haven't.
For the last several years.
But let me tell you something. Can you imagine the hotbed that he's got to recruit in Florida?
I know. That alone should make him want to stay.
Florida, Florida State, Central Florida, and Miami, that's 4 powerhouses.
And a lot of the talent comes out of South Florida in the Miami area. So, I mean, recruiting, you're all set up for recruiting. Whoever takes over, they're set up nicely in recruiting.
Well, I'm sure they keep most of the talent in Florida.
They do. Miami always recruits well from South Florida, and then the other in-state schools
you've got some other schools. You've got some other schools there that are competitive a little bit, So they've got their hands full in recruiting.
Yes.
But anyway, football. Bowl fever.
Are we done talking about basketball? You sure?
Yeah, well.
That was the best part. Tennessee-wise, anyway.
Is there anything else?
That's probably it. Because we haven't played much because of the holidays, so. But yeah, SEC time is upon us, so in basketball. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
It'll be interesting. I think Tennessee will make a run in the SEC and in tournament time too.
The men for sure, yeah.
With both teams playing at the level they're playing, I can't foresee the bottom falling out all of a sudden.
You wouldn't think so. Barring no injuries, no.
Well, that's true too. But anyway,
no injuries, then no.
Football. Alabama showed Oklahoma how to play. They flexed their muscles a little bit. But now let me tell you, Oklahoma scored 34 points.
Yeah.
Alabama don't give up 34 points.
No. But now Clemson will not be. We've had this discussion. Clemson beat Alabama a couple years ago to win the national championship.
They won one,
and that was over Alabama. So
it was over Alabama.
So therefore, they're not going to be intimidated.
But the interesting sidelight to the Alabama-Oklahoma matchup was the quarterback position, because the Oklahoma quarterback, Kyler Murray, had won the Heisman Trophy over Alabama's quarterback, Powell, whatever you pronounce his name.
I think that motivated him in that game.
Well, he had a pretty good game. He completed 24 out of 27 passes for 4 touchdowns.
He was motivated.
He wanted to show the pollsters
that they made a mistake. Yes.
But anyway, Alabama did their job. Clemson and Alabama will face off now on this Monday.
Because Clemson beat Notre Dame.
Handily. And everybody said Georgia should have been there, but Georgia didn't deserve to be there the way they played.
Yeah, they got blew out by Texas.
Well, Texas had a little bit of orange in their outfit.
They did. I think Georgia was let down by not making the playoffs.
It could have been
I think that played a factor in it.
It could be a second. But anyway, what disturbs me about the biggie that's coming up Monday, the participants are Clemson over on the East Coast.
ACC.
And then you've got Alabama in the SEC, and we're just about 3 hours drive from the ocean, or 4, due east. The game is going to be played in Santa Clara, California, in the San Francisco Giants Stadium. That's dumb.
It is, but it was already predetermined.
It's predetermined, but here's today, in today's paper, the people that have tickets to sell, they're begging you to buy.
Yeah.
The going price is $100 to $200 below average.
Oh, I thought you meant if they sell for that price, they'll get going quick. I thought you meant $100. Period.
They're saying $165 is probably a going price.
Oh, well they'll sell them then.
And they're saying there may even be empty seats.
Well, it goes to show you that maybe they should not predetermine it and maybe wait until the playoff is settled where you got 4 teams and then pick a place.
Get a neutral site, but get it closer to one or both.
Yes.
You can't get it closer to both because you don't know where both come from.
But it'd still be better than the way it is now.
But the rest of the SEC, Florida won over Michigan in the Peach Bowl.
Yeah.
And they won 10 ball games. I believe Florida might be in the top 10 next year.
Oh, probably so.
Dan Mullen, in his first year, did a pretty good job.
He did.
Good job. Okay, in the Belk Bowl, South Carolina acted pitiful.
Yeah, what happened?
They got shut out 27-0. You don't want an SEC team to get shut out.
No. Who beat them again?
Virginia.
No, it shouldn't have been. It shouldn't have been that score.
Auburn won big time. Missouri.
Auburn, and they're never know what Auburn team's going to show up. So glad to see that they showed up for the bowl game.
Missouri played Oklahoma State and got beat.
Barely lost.
Texas A&M played North Carolina State and they won
convincingly.
Mississippi State lost to Iowa.
Yeah.
Kentucky beat Penn State.
That was a good game.
LSU beat Central Florida.
That was a good game.
And Georgia lost to Texas.
That was, I don't know.
So we wound up with 11 teams in the bowl picture.
Which is amazing in itself.
6-5 is our record. 6
That's
wins,
not
5
amazing.
losses.
We should be better than that.
We should be better than that. Of course, you've got one more shot at getting a win, but it's not another bowl. It's just the championship. Just the championship.
Yeah, that's it. It's just the national championship.
But I mean, right now, out of 11 teams, we've got a 6-5 record.
Well, I know a lot of people say they're going to root for the SEC no matter what, and I usually do. But I can't do it for Alabama. I just can't. I'm tired of them winning all the time, Papa. So I would not have any problem if Clemson beat them. It wouldn't bother me. I really don't care who wins. You know what I'm saying? But it wouldn't bother me to see Clemson beat them. And have Alabama a good rival. Clemson seems to be that rival right now.
Well, this is the 4th time they faced each other. So you're saying the repetitiveness of seeing these same two teams compete for the championship 4 years in a row gets boring?
Well, no, what I'm saying is you don't want to see I'm glad Clemson has come along and challenged them now. Alabama was winning too much. I'm saying I don't think it's good for any sport for the same team to win the championship every year.
I'll agree with you in principle. It's not good. But at the same time, I had a friend that said he had an employee that I'd recommended he hire, and he hired him. Well, later that employee quit him and went to work for a larger competitor.
Okay.
And I called him to tell him about it. I said, I want to apologize, Buck. This fellow that I recommended go to work for you, you hired him, and now he's quit you and gone to another higher competitor. He said, Albert, the cream always rises to the top. When you milk a cow and you bring the milk home in that jug, in that bucket, the cream, the butterfat that's in that milk will rise to the top. The same is true in sports. The better team should always win.
Yeah.
The better team, the most prepared, the best coached.
But you want the playing field to be more even. You don't want a dominant team every year.
But parity takes care of itself. The same thing is true with Connecticut. We don't like it because Connecticut wins every year in basketball.
Oh, well, they haven't the last couple of years, and they got beat last night. Baylor beat them.
You like to see parity. You like to see it.
You do.
But you cannot legislate it. You cannot make it go whichever way it goes.
Yeah.
The cream will rise to the top. The better team will win.
Well, Clemson will not be intimidated by them. Clemson has the talent to do it.
I'll agree with you there.
Yeah.
Now,
so maybe it'll be an entertaining game, and you don't want to see that game be a blowout either.
Well, listen, the Oklahoma-Alabama game was not a blowout.
No.
It was to begin with in the first half.
Yeah, and then Oklahoma
woke up.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something that happened today. Before I saw this, I read this. I read this morning that gas that is in Chattanooga right now at $1.62 a gallon at one station.
Yes.
It was $1.93 when I passed through town last night. It's $1.91 today, meaning it's gone down some.
Here in Pikeville.
But I read yesterday that gas would break the $3 barrier this year. Going back up.
I'll see.
They already have forecast and foretold they can see where oil is going, and they're telling us that gas will go back up in the $3 range, over $3.
That figures.
That has nothing to do with sports.
Not a thing. Not a darn thing. But good to know anyway.
That's all I have. That's all I have for sports.
All right.
No marbles and no golf.
All right. Well, now it's time for some good old Albertology, Pawpaw. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see what you got to talk.
Well, I've got some of Lala's.
What you got for us to talk about today?
These are some more of Lala's.
Well, Lala, thanks for the Christmas card, by the way. She sent a very nice Christmas card, yes.
Sweet lady.
And hello, Ruby, again. I'm sorry I missed your call. I didn't know I did miss your call. So you call me again. You can call me anytime. And thanks for watching, Ruby. Hope you had a great Christmas and New Year's.
And hope you get to see us every week on television.
That's right. That's right.
They don't get us on the radio.
She watches on TV and she loves it. That's two of her biggest fans right there.
Do you remember the character Helen Keller? You know. Okay.
Well, she's a real person, wasn't she?
Oh yeah. She was a blind lady.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
This is one of her sayings.
Okay.
To me, a lush carpet of pine needles or spongy grass is more welcome than the most luxurious Persian rug. Pine needles. That's right.
Really?
A cold May is kindly and fills the barn finely.
I don't get that.
Well, that means that your crops did well. You harvested.
Oh, okay. I just didn't want to make out what that said. Okay.
We never know the worth of water till the well goes dry.
Oh, that's true.
If the 1st of July be rainy weather, it will rain more or less for 4 weeks together. Without labor, nothing prospers.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Mm-hmm. Wood cut during the new moon is hard to split. I didn't know that.
Didn't know that one either.
Thunder in September indicates a good crop of grain and fruit the next year. Thunder in February, frost in May. Mm-hmm. Addie told me she heard thunder a while ago.
Did you, Allie? Great. But it's supposed to be pretty the next 2 days.
For every fog in October, we will have a snow in winter.
Didn't know that. Did you?
Nope. Oh, these are, I don't know where she gets all her wild saying. She sends me a bunch of them. The greatest fine art of the future will be the making of a comfortable living on a small piece of land. And that was said by Abraham Lincoln.
Really?
And when the experiment started out here at Homestead, mm-hmm. all those homes that were built, this was an experiment by Franklin Delano Roosevelt. He foresaw, or some of his expert advisors, they thought that they could bring people there that were out of work mm-hmm. and give them a tract of land, give them a piece of land, and let them pay them back, clear the land, build a house, mm-hmm. and they would give them the money to do that. The government would, and then they would pay back what they'd used. Yeah. But the idea in the back of somebody's mind was that about a 15-acre tract of land would produce you enough crop to give you a living, and it wouldn't.
Oh.
It wouldn't.
That's really messed up, huh?
We all are worms, but I believe I am a glowworm. Winston Churchill. I had another saying by him, and he said he liked alcohol at breakfast and at dinner and at supper and in between. do that one, then we'll go to. Don't want to say them all yet.
Well.
How come?
I've heard that one a lot though.
Sweet April showers do spring flowers.
Mayflowers bring Mayflowers.
Yeah, I've always heard that. If a bee flies into a house, it is a sign of good luck. However, the luck will hold only if the bee is allowed either to stay or to fly out of the house on its own accord.
Shoot.
What is that the way
That's harder to do then.
We don't know about that one. Okay. Alfred Lord Tennyson. I remember one time I said, no, Henry Wadsworth Longfellow was the man you made fun of when I called out his name. Hope smiles from the threshold of the year to come, whispering it will be happier. Alfred Lord Tennyson. Hope springs from the threshold of the year to come, which we're in. Today's the 4th or 5th?
Yeah, we're at the beginning of 2019.
Whispering, it will be happier. It will be happier.
Well, 2019 is happier then.
Okay, candy at Christmas.
Oh, yeah. It's hard not to eat it then.
We spent U.S. consumers spent $2 billion on candy during Christmas.
That's amazing, but I can believe it.
Now, that's not just all on candy that you bought that's already ready to eat. Some of that is candy that you make.
Yeah. And a lot of people do make candy at Christmas.
Patricia bought the stuff to make it. It's on her cabinet.
Oh, really?
She was going to make peppermint candy and chocolate candy and peanut butter candy. She made it every year.
Butter balls and stuff.
And she didn't get to make it. But all the stuff we bought is right there on the counter.
I mean, since you brought that up, that's going to confuse people. Patricia is, where is she? She's in
Spring City in a rehab place, so they're taking rehab.
Okay. This is Miss Patricia Nell we're talking about. Papa's a lady friend, as he calls her, and want to keep her and her family and Papa in your prayers, folks, for that. One of the favorite candies is candy corn. I never liked it, but a lot of people do.
Well, Halloween too,
Yeah.
But candy canes and peppermint, that's some of the favorite candy.
Yeah.
That's some of the favorite candy.
Peanut butter balls and, chocolate candy, anything chocolate's big at Christmas time too.
Oh, you better believe it. Okay, our producer always liked, what was his name, that detective that had funny
Sherlock Holmes.
But can you picture Will Ferrell being Sherlock Holmes?
No. No.
This
Used to him being, this must be a comic take on Sherlock Holmes.
It's got to be by them choosing him to be.
And the other guy's real funny too.
Well, it opened on Christmas Day.
Yeah. And
I think it's been doing pretty well. I think it was number 7 over the weekend.
Yeah.
But anyway, they teamed up to make another film of.
What's the name of this movie? I saw it preview.
Holmes and Watson.
Yeah. But it's definitely like a different take on it. I
want to see if these are the different Sherlocks we've had in the past, and I remember the first one, Basil Rathbone. Do you remember him? You wouldn't remember him. That's 1986. The great mouse detective had his voice.
Oh.
But he played Holmes back in the 1950s.
Okay.
Christopher Lee, he was in Sherlock Holmes and the Deadly Necklace in 1962. Christopher Plummer, I think he's pretty famous.
Sherlock versus Jack the Ripper was that one.
Yeah. Peter O'Toole, he was him on stage. He played him on stage, and he even played Sir Arthur Conan Doyle in one movie.
Wow.
Jeremy Brett, I don't remember him playing, but that's the BBC series.
He played him on BBC in 1984, 94.
Johnny Lee Miller, Elementary, my dear. He was on. Anyway, Benedict Cumberbatch. I think he's one of the better ones. He is one of the better ones, isn't he? He won the Emmy Award for being Sherlock. That hat. Ian McKellen in 2015, Mr. Holmes. And then Johnny Depp. I did not know Johnny Depp ever played Sherlock Holmes. He was the voice. He was the voice. It was.
Oh, this was a cartoon. Okay.
Yeah, it was animated.
Okay.
He was the voice.
Was it the gnome?
Sherlock Gnomes.
Yeah.
No. I'm not saw that.
Did it mention Robert Downey Jr.?
Robert Downey Jr. is the last one. He's been in 2 Sherlock films, and another one's coming up in 2020.
All right.
10 different actors have been Sherlock Holmes over the.
Didn't realize that.
Nor did I. Well, listen to Marilyn. Have we got time?
Yeah.
Now keep up with this. Say a man buys a ring for his wife for $60. Then changes his mind and decides to sell it for $70.
Okay.
Then changes his mind
Wants
again.
to make a $10 profit.
He buys it back for $80.
Oh, God, it's going to be confusing.
Then changes it back and sells it for $90. What is his profit, if any?
I hope you know, Allie, because
$10.
I mean, it was 10 at first.
Wouldn't he have loss of profit?
Let's say that he had $200 in his pocket when he bought the ring.
Okay.
How much
He spent $60. So he had $140 left.
Oh.
Then he sells it for $70. That gives him $210. Then he buys it back for $80.
Okay.
Now he's got $130.
Okay.
And then he sells it for $90. So now he has $220. He just started with $200.
So he gained $20.
So he gained $20.
Wow.
But it gets you confused, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. She's good for that. Good old ass Marilyn.
I didn't share that Dr. Zeus' wife died, did I? I mean,
no.
Dr. Zeus' wife died. I had this last week, but we didn't have a program.
The guy that played, like the guy that wrote the
Dr.
stories,
Zeus.
the author.
Cat in the Hat.
Yeah.
Grinch That Almost Stole Christmas. That's the number 2 all-time Christmas film.
I'm sure. Yeah, Dr. Seuss has got a lot of hits.
Well, yeah. And he told his wife before he died, I want you to take care of the Cat in the Hat and the Grinch and all the characters I've created. So she did. She ran a highly profitable multimedia corporation. I mean, it went to books and films and theme parks and the whole things. But she was 97 years old. 97 years old when she died.
Okay.
He died back in 91.
Okay, so
Her husband created 47 children's stories while he was alive. 47. So how did she do after he died in 91? She died this year. Here's what she did. More than 10 million Dr. Seuss books sell each year.
wow.
And new works keep on coming out. The 2000 live-action film, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, was a box office smash.
Yes, it was. With Jim Carrey.
And it's still the number 2 behind It's a Wonderful Life is the number 1 Christmas film of all time. But she said he was not very fond of children.
What?
He
got it writing all these books for kids, and he's not too fond of
47 children's stories.
Are you hearing this, Allie? That is insane.
She said he was afraid of children. But he had 2 children by his first wife.
That just don't make any sense, does it?
He had 2 children by his first wife.
She wasn't the first wife?
He and Audrey had an affair.
Oh.
And his wife killed herself. And Audrey divorced her husband, and they remarried.
Oh, wow.
But he didn't like children. You ever heard of Louis Armstrong?
Yeah.
Did you know Louis Armstrong? Really? I mean, you didn't get to hear him back in his heyday, but you've heard of Satchmo. That's what he was called.
Satchmo was
Satchmo. His gravelly voice, What a Wonderful World was the song, and he had a trumpet that he played all the time. But the jazz people referred to him as a genius. He started out in extreme poverty in a New Orleans slum, living in the colored Waif's Home for Boys. WAIF, Waif's Home for Boys. And he discovered the cornet, which was a cornet is close to a trumpet. And he had a man that took him under his wing, and he first had a recording, and some of his early recordings are called the Rosetta Stone of jazz because he was that good.
Wow.
And in the 30s, he led the way with a new style of singing with his horn. He made the horn, he made his voice sound like a horn. And he was that good. The big band era.
That would be good.
The big band era, Les Brown and his Band of Renown and all the big bands.
About that era, but I know a lot of people do.
Well, whenever that all went by the wayside, he still created a band that traveled around and played.
Yeah.
He loved that trumpet. At the turn of the century, no one paid much notice to the birth of an illegitimate black baby boy in New Orleans. But Louis never knowing his real birthday, chose July the 4th, 1900 as his birthday, but later the real date was August the 4th, 1901. And he died at 69.
Well, he wasn't too far off on that birthday.
Just about a month, isn't it? Kate Smith.
I thought he lived to be older than that.
That's just a lot of your famous people. They don't live very long.
Well, I mean, a lot of them do, but yeah, a lot don't too. You're right.
Kate Smith. I think she's best known. Well, it says she was called the Songbird of the South back in the early '30s on the radio.
Oh, okay.
But I think she's better known for God Bless America.
Is that what she sang?
It became...
Not originally, I'm sure.
Became the unofficial national anthem.
Right.
It really did.
Y'all know that God Bless America was wrote as a jab to Britain. They had a song called God Save Our Queen.
God Save the Queen.
And it was written off of that as a joke in the beginning.
Really?
Wow.
It became a national icon.
Wow, that is crazy.
But she got on television in 1950. When the Moon Comes Over the Mountain, I remember that song. She sold 6 million copies of that record.
Well, that is a lot, especially for back then.
Yeah. She donated all the proceeds from her recording on God Bless America to the Boy Scouts of America and the Girl Scouts of America, and they still get the royalties from it.
Really?
Yeah. She died in...
She must not need the money.
She died at 77. Okay. Henry Ford.
Longer than Armstrong.
When are we going to do jokes, man? Next.
Yeah.
Henry Ford. In 1905, the idea came...
I've heard of Henry Ford.
He wanted to build cars for the rich. But the idea was to build cars for the rich. They figured the only rich could afford cars. So he wanted to build a car that the common man could buy. So he thought he would build a cheaper car. So he went to work and he begged for better roads. He pushed for gas stations to be put up everywhere. And in 1914, he doubled his workers' salaries. And that's the reason that car factories, employees make as much money as they do. It goes back to Henry Ford.
Wow. So they should be grateful to him.
That was in 1914.
That's crazy.
He wanted people to have more income so they could buy his car.
Exactly.
And by the time the Model T ceased production in 27, he had sold 15 million. He had some odd ideas. He said customers could have any color of car they wanted as long as it's black. He opposed labor unions and hired company policemen to run them off and keep them from coming on his premises to try to organize a labor
smart.
A union.
Yeah, that's smart on his part.
Okay. In World War I, he wanted to help out the effort of America in the war.
So
he built an assembly line a mile long, producing B-24 bombers at the rate of 1 every hour.
Wow.
And by the end of the war, he had built 86,000 aircraft, 277,000 Jeeps, Willis Jeeps, to use in the war, and they used them in World War II. And and more than 1 million other fighting vehicles had been built at the Ford plants in India, in Britain, and New Zealand, everywhere. At his death, Mr. Ford, Edsel, they created a car called the Edsel. That was after his son. He had taken control, but he died, and he took back over control, and in 1947, he breathed his last breath at his mansion in Fairlane at 83. In 1965, I bought a Fairlane. That's where he lived, Fairlane.
Wow.
I got some stories. I want you to...
Some stories.
I want you to listen to these.
Stories. They're jokes.
They're jokes.
Jokes.
They're about animals today.
Oh, that's good.
So a man brought a rabbit, a frog, and a chicken to a talent agent's office. And as the agent watched with indifference, who wants to watch a rabbit and a frog and a chicken? But the frog drank from a glass of water while the rabbit danced around the chicken and performed somersaults. Just as the agent was about to tell the man to take his animals and leave, the rabbit bowed and said, "Thank you and good night." "That's amazing," said the agent. "The rabbit is hired." "But what about the frog?" asked the man. "The frog doesn't have any talent. I want the rabbit." "But the chicken," he started to say. "I don't want a chicken. I don't want anything but that rabbit." So the following week, the agent got the rabbit an appearance on a TV show.
Okay.
When it was introduced, the rabbit went out on the stage hopping, cleared its throat, and then silently walked off. "What happened?" the agent said to the man that owned it. "The rabbit didn't say a word." "No," said the owner, "the rabbit doesn't talk." "But last week in my office I heard..." "I was trying to tell you, the chicken is a ventriloquist." He wanted the rabbit.
He wouldn't shut up long enough for the man to tell him. That's pretty good.
A tourist was fishing off the coast of Florida when his boat capsized. He could swim.
That's not good.
But he's afraid there might be alligators, so he just hung on to the side of the boat.
I can understand that.
And he spotted a beachcomber standing over on the shore, and he said, "Hey, are there any alligators around here?" "Nah," the man hollered back. "They haven't been around here for years." So the tourist felt safe, and he began swimming toward the shore. About halfway there, he asked the guy, "How'd they get rid of the gators?"
Yeah, for real.
"They didn't do anything," he said. "The sharks ate them all."
Perfectly safe to jump in.
A man was riding his horse down a bridle path when a dog walking down the path said, "Hello." The man was so surprised, he said, "I didn't know dogs could talk." And the horse said, "Neither did I." A man runs into a veterinarian's office carrying his dog, yelling for help. He's rushed back to the examination room, puts his dog down on the table. The vet examines the still, limp body, and after a few minutes tells the man that his dog, unfortunately, is dead. The man is clearly troubled. Not willing to accept this opinion, he demands a second opinion. The vet goes into the back of the business and returns with a cat and puts the cat down beside the dog's body. The cat sniffs the dog, walks from head to toe, sniffing the body, and finally looks at the vet and just meows.
Okay.
The vet says to the man, "I'm sorry, but the cat thinks your dog is dead." The man is still unwilling to accept that his dog is gone, so the vet brings in his black lab. And the Labrador sniffs the body, walks from head to tail, looks at the vet, and barks. The vet looks over at the man and says, "I'm so sorry, but the lab thinks your dog is dead too." The man...
What's it going to take for this man to get it?
He's finally resigned to the diagnosis, and he thanks the vet, and he says, "How much do I owe you?" The vet says, $450. The man hits the ceiling. $450 to tell me my dog is dead?
Yeah.
The man said, "Well, it would have only been $50 for my fee, but the additional $400 is for a CAT scan and a lab work."
Oh, that's pretty good. The cat did scan it.
He scanned it.
And the lab did work a little bit to figure it out.
Timmy was in the garden feeling in a hole when his neighbor peered over the fence. Boy, this is good, isn't it?
Okay.
Intrigued with what the young boy was up to, he politely said, "What are you up to today, Timmy?" "My goldfish died," Timmy said, cheerfully.
Yeah.
But he didn't look up. He's still digging.
Every kid has to say that because goldfish live about all of 10 minutes.
He said, "I just got through burying my fish."
Right.
He was so upset. The neighbor was concerned, and he said, "Well, that's an awfully big hole for a goldfish, isn't it?" Mm-hmm. Timmy pressed down on top of the mound and then replied, "That's because my fish is in your cat's belly."
Oh. Hey, we're back. Papa just got a real bad crick in his neck, I guess you could say.
Let's call it that.
Yes. So you gonna make it?
Till the next one. I've not had one it's been days and days and days. Mm-hmm. But sometimes I'll have 3 in a day.
Well, that's too many.
Yeah, I'll agree with you.
I think you need, yeah.
One is too many because the pain is so severe it just knocks you out.
Yeah, you can't do anything.
You can't function, and when you're driving, it's dangerous.
Very dangerous, yeah.
I head for the side of the road as quickly as I can. Okay, how do you spell mousetrap with just 3 letters?
How do you spell mousetrap with just 3 letters? I have no idea.
C-A-T.
Oh, of course. That's the best one of all. 2 more.
2 more. A workman had just finished laying a carpet in the house when he realized he had lost half his sandwich. Looking around, he saw a lump under the carpet. Mm-hmm. Not wanting to pull the carpet up again, he just got out his hammer and smashed the lump flat.
Right.
Thought it was his sandwich.
Of course.
As he was cleaning up, the lady came in. "You've done a good job here. Mm-hmm. Just one thing, though. Have you seen our pet frog lately?"
All right, one more. If you got it.
This one is too long.
That is way too long.
3 animals,
good Lord,
were having a disagreement over who was the best. The first was a hawk. Mm-hmm. And the hawk claimed that because of his ability to fly, he was able to attack anything repeatedly from above, and his prey didn't have a chance.
That's a good point.
The second was a lion, and the lion based his claim on the strength that he had. Mm-hmm. None in the forest dared to challenge him.
Another good point.
The third was a skunk. And the skunk insisted he did not need either flight or strength to ward off any creature.
True.
As the 3 of them argued, the hawk and the lion and the skunk, a grizzly bear came along and swallowed them all. Hawk, lion, and stinker. Instead of sinker.
That's pretty good.
I thought that was pretty good.
That was pretty good. That's a good way to end it. Well, thanks for joining us on Channel 18, Valley TV, and YouTube. Don't forget you watch all of our episodes on YouTube, folks. And thanks for listening on WUAT AM 1110. And we will be back next week. We got our first episode of the new year over with, so...
And I'm still in one piece.
I know it. Papa got a crick in his neck, folks. Glad it went away.
Yeah.
Me and Allie didn't know what was going on.
I did, but I couldn't tell you.
I know. But thanks for watching, folks, and listening. And we'll be back next week for another edition of the Albert and Billy Show.
See you, folks.